Alright everyone, I want to thank you all for joining me for some more Umineko goodness. So right now, we're currently still in the backstory of Beatrice and learning how she was pretty much a fish out of water considering she was locked in this hidden mansion of hers by Kinzo all this time. With Rosa trying to understand her and, if anything, probably show her the world outside of it. But if anything, that's currently where we are, and we're going to continue to find out what happens next, if anything else. So, thank you all for watching, thank you all for the love and support, and let's keep it going! Alright everyone, welcome back again.
そなたは誰か名乗るがよい。
後宮ローザと言います。
後宮。ほう、金蔵の一族の人間なのか？
はい。金蔵の娘です。こんにちは。
I was just a little surprised. After all, father was a great man feared by everyone. And she had referred to him without using honorifics. So she quickly became frightening. After all, if she could refer to my fearsome father that way, she must be a witch with incredible power. After staring at me curiously, she beckoned me to come over to her. And I obeyed, although filled with belated trepidation. After all, I thought I really might be turned into a frog. And the closer and closer I got, the stronger that fear became. That's a lot of after-alls. I said it several times already, but that woman and her dress in the flower garden and the mansion, that entire harmony was so fantastical and beautiful that it seemed separate from reality. It surely wouldn't have surprised me even if she was actually a witch. And I was truly lucky. She didn't turn me into a frog. As I awkwardly stood there stock still, she motioned to an open chair and urged me to sit down.
座るがよい。初めて訪れた者を庭へ招き、語らうのが、わらわの唯一の楽しみよ。他に、何の楽しみもないがな。
As she said that, she showed an unhappy smile for just an instant. Because I was full of a strange mix of tension and excitement, I rudely asked her a question suddenly.
森の魔女、ベアトリーチェですか？
いかにも、わらわがベアトリーチェである。
やはりな、ベアトリーチェは実在したんだ。
その姿は、まさに肖像画の。
ええ、まさに、肖像画の通りよ。
お父さんの想像の中の魔女じゃなかったんやな。
それで、あなたは彼女と何を話したの？
彼女は、お茶を入れながら、私のことをいろいろと聞いたわ。まず、森を抜けてやってきたことを驚かれた。彼女は、柵の外には危険な狼がたくさんいると信じていたみたいだった。だから、私が森を抜けてたどり着いたと言ったら、とても驚いていたわ。どうやって狼から逃れたのか、ビスケットを渡して許してもらったのか、それとも、魔法の街灯をかぶって、なんて感じのことを言ってたっけ？
そりゃ確かに魔女っぽいわな。面白いお人や。
あなた黙って。ずいぶん昔だけど、お父様は、森には狼が住んでいるから近寄ってはならないって。
ああ、そんなこともあったな。バカらしいね。日本の狼はとっくの昔に絶滅しているというのに。まさに子供騙しだな。
記憶にねえな。そんな話、親父に聞かされたっけ？森には魔女だろ？狼なんて話、聞いたことないぜ。
あんたがまだ小学校だった頃よ。覚えてない？そしたらあんた、むしろ狼を撫でてみたいなんて言い出すもんだから。 お父様はすぐに狼の話を引っ込めて、魔女の話に切り替えたのよ。もう、その嘘っぽいことと言ったら。
当時のルドルフには、狼よりも魔女の話の方がてきめんだったね。よく覚えているよ。私の背中にしがみついた夜があったことを覚えているかね。
ルドルフさんにも、そんな可愛らしい時代があったのね。
うるせえな。子供の頃の話だぜ。
まあ、とにかく、ベアトリーチェを閉じ込めていたのがお父さんなら、同じ狼の話をするのは道理ね。彼にとって六軒島の広大な森は、後ろ宮家と愛人の屋敷という、相入れない二つの異世界を分断する、越えてはならない壁だったのだから。
柵の高さを考えると、どうやら親父殿は、庭ごと丸々を座敷牢にしたようだな。さながら、二つの世界を分ける国境も同然だったのだろう。
狼はともかく、野犬の類でもいたのではありませんか？そのための策だったかもしれません。六軒島に狼も野犬もいないわ。その策は、兄さんやキリエさんの言うように、ベアトリーチェと私たちの間の国境だったんでしょうね。
しかし、狼の話を素直に信じるなんて、なんちゅうか、純朴やな。わしの想像していた魔女とは随分違う感じやで。
そうね。それは私も感じたわ。とても尊大で、確かに魔女のイメージ通りの人だったんだけど、どこか、とても子供っぽくて、なんていうのか、素直すぎるというか、世間知らずな印象を受けたわ。例えるなら、本当におとぎの国の人みたいというか、本当に不思議な人だったわ。
それからどうしたんだ？親父の話とかは出たのかい？
ええ。何日かに一度。約束されている日もあれば、突然の日もあったそうだけど、ふらりとお父様が訪れては、一緒にお茶を飲んだり、散歩したりしたんですって。私が訪れたその日は、たまたま彼女一人だったと言っていたわ。
なるほどな。まさに愛人といったところだ。やれやれ。いくつ年下か知らんが、親父殿もやるね。
いかがわしい意味での交流はなかったと確信しています。バカね。男と女の仰せに色気がないはずないじゃない。それでどうしたの？それから何の話を？
私の自己紹介をしたので、逆に彼女のことを質問したわ。そうしたら、急に雰囲気が落ち込んでしまったの。なんていうのか、とても気だるそうな、寂しそうな。私が初めて彼女の顔を見た時に浮かべていたのと同じ表情だった。
まあ、秘密の愛人だからな。好き勝手に歩かれて、お袋に見つかっちまったらことだ。きっと軟禁に近い状態だったろう。綺麗なドレスに、綺麗な屋敷や庭があっても、さぞや窮屈な思いをしてたんだろうぜ。そりゃ苦労もあったろうさ。それで？
彼女はきっと何か悩みがあった。それを私に話したところで何の解決にもならない。というような雰囲気が読み取れて、私もとても悲しかったのを覚えてる。私と一緒にいることさえ忘れてしまったかのようで、遠くをぼんやり見ながら、ずっと無言でいたわ。私はきっと 出現してしまったに違いないと思ったんだけど、謝罪の言葉すらも口にしていいような雰囲気じゃなくて。だから私も、彼女が私と一緒にいることを思い出してくれるまで。
When she did, she muttered unexpectedly.
柵の向こうには、本当に狼などおらぬのか？
はい。狼なんて動物園でも見たことないです。
動物園とは何か？
いろんな動物が飼われているところです。象とかキリンとかパンダとか、珍しい動物がいっぱいいますよ。
動物園に狼はいないのか？なら怖くないかもしれんな。
狼がいたとしても、動物はみんな檻に入ってますから安全です。だから安心して見学できるんですよ。
The witch of the forest of all people was for some reason scared of and didn't like wolves. I remember it looked pretty comical.
それはわらわとどう違うのか？
She didn't even know about zoos. I explained how fun zoos could be, but it was very difficult to get a person like her who had never been to one to understand. Quite the opposite, as I explained it to her, her expression grew increasingly dismal. She couldn't see the difference. It seemed that, although the mansion surrounded by a high fence appeared at a glance to afford her a completely provided for a life of comfort, she couldn't see how she was different from the animals shut up in cages.
わらわは何者なのか？皆はわらわのことをベアトリーチェと呼ぶ。それは確かに、そなたの言うように偉大な魔女の名前らしい。しかし、それはわらわではないのだ。わらわには魔法など何も使えぬ。わらわは、その魔女の魂を好みに封じられているだけなのだ。
There was definitely something mysterious about her. It wasn't just that she was somehow at odds with the world, but it seemed that she truly believed that a thing called magic actually exists. I think she talked about various weird things, but I don't remember the details. All I thought was, this might be a pitiful person. She was unable to leave this mansion of her own will, a prisoner without even realizing it. And she didn't know anything about the outside world, didn't even understand who she was. She probably vaguely understood herself that she was pitiful. But since she didn't know anything, it seemed that she couldn't realize that this was unhappiness. Ness-san, long ago, when I told you that I felt sorry for a bird in a cage, I remember you said this to me. A bird that only knows the inside of a cage doesn't long for the outside. But she wasn't a bird. She was ultimately a human. Even if she had never been outside the cage, she understood that it wasn't the whole world. So, I invited her.
柵の外へ出てみますか？
本当に狼はいないのか？
いないですよ。絶対平気ですから。
出たいぞ。だが、いつも門は閉まっている。
私が入ってきたところがあります。くぐり抜けられる隙間があるんです。
そこを抜ければ、外の世界があるのか？
はい。
狼は、本当にいない？
はい、いませんよ。
I had only planned to invite her for a short walk, but she kept looking over her shoulder at the mansion as though she were seriously deliberating over something. Then I learned what she was preparing herself for.
わらわは、もうここは嫌だ。
Also, she was planning to run away. I can't really blame her with the way Kinzo was lying to her. It's funny how he gave the kids excuses that a witch lives there to prevent them from going to meet her, and he used the excuse that a wolf is outside of the mansion to keep her inside. So it goes to show he wants her trapped or locked up in the hidden mansion. For what reason, I'm still unclear of, because like on one hand we believe that she is a witch, and on the other, this girl right here just wants to get out. She's like a regular person, We're told that she has the spirit of a witch, but again, we still don't have the full story, the full picture.
外へ出たい。そしてわらわが何者で、この世界はどうなっていて、わらわは何のために生まれてきたのかを知りたい。
But then again, see, this is the thing. I'm saying this, and then I'm like, in the back of my mind, I keep forgetting, or not that I keep forgetting, but it just hits me again and again that we also have a meta world going on between her and Battler. So, I mean, how is that even possible if she isn't a witch, right? This game? It's messing with my head. I didn't know what her life had been like until then. It was probably something that she couldn't express easily. If it was harsh, she just had to say that she wanted to escape. If it was sweet, she just had to say that she would stay. To liken it to something. Perhaps it was similar to how a hot fireplace on a winter day makes the air get thicker and thicker, giving you a headache. But even though you know that you shouldn't keep things the way they are, you still need the courage to open the window and be tormented by the cold wind. She was starting to realize that she couldn't stay there forever. She was starting to realize that she had to go outside sometime. But since she didn't know about the outside world, to take that first step outside must have required an unimaginable amount of courage. And she had taken that into consideration and resolved herself. She had put the resolution to go outside into words, for what was surely the first time in her entire life. I hesitated slightly. It had been decided that she would live here by father. It was as if she were father's beloved bird in a cage. If I just let her escape, wouldn't I be harshly scolded by father?
見たい。
何を？
動物園が見たいのだ。
Man, Beatrice was really sweet back then. Makes you feel really bad as to what may happen to her that causes her to become the character she is today. I was just a little surprised when she finally showed me a very soft smile. That might have been an inner peace coming from her newfound readiness to venture out from her cage. A soft smile which I wouldn't have imagined could have come out that dark face.
そなたと話すと知らないことばかり出てくる。わらわは学校なるものもわからぬし、動物園も知らぬ。映画館も知らぬ。遊園地も知らぬ。そしてそれを知りたいと心の底から思う。そなたはわらわをそこへ連れて行ってくれるのか？
I was nervous about how I would do it and keep it a secret from father. But her face looked so happy, so I went along with her and nodded. But it seemed that the meaning behind my vague expression was not communicated to her. It seemed that she believed that I would really take her to all those places if we left. She was pure and genuine. She had probably never been tricked by anyone. No, maybe it should be said that she hadn't been taught how to doubt. Her face was somewhat radiant and yet pathetic. I wanted to somehow grant her a modest wish.
わらわはもうベアトリーチェは嫌だ。わらわが何者なのか知りたい。ベアトリーチェではない新しい人間を始めたい。だからここから連れ出してほしい。
There's also the possibility that this could be, I think it was very early in episode 3, she could be the white-haired witch whose soul was transferred to this brunette over here. But I don't know who this character is then, right?
もう紅茶もいらぬ。ドレスもいらぬ。金蔵とも二度と会わぬ。ここよりわらわを連れ出してくれ。
You are asking a lot out of a little girl.
ローザ。
However, that responsibility is one that a child such as me couldn't possibly bear fully. But her serious gaze and her brilliant smile, almost as though an evil spirit had lifted from her, made me feel a little courage start to rise up inside myself. This was definitely something that would get me in a lot of trouble, but it was definitely the right thing to do. I don't know how it will turn out, but I'll take her out. Of course, I won't be able to ask help from father, and not mother either. Should I talk to Onisama or Onesama? No, what about the reliable Genji-san or... That's right, what about Kumasawa-san, to whom I can always talk when I'm in trouble? I'm sure they'll be able to do something. Anyway, for now, I'll take her out of here, because this is no longer a place where she wishes to be. And so, I took her to the crack in the fence and led her outside. She was all nervous, checking to make sure there were no wolves around. But after that fear disappeared, she seemed somehow to be having fun even just walking around this dense forest. Every time she found something, she would ask me about it. And they were all really minor things. What's that flower? What's that leaf? And that sound? And that smell? It was really like the inside of that fence had been her entire world. So to her, who had stepped out of the world, this was... You know, it's strange. In the beginning, when I first saw her, I thought that she was the absolute incarnation of a witch relaxing by a witch's mansion. But now it was different. Or actually, the complete opposite. She had gotten out of the world she had believed to be finite, and was full of joy at realizing for the first time that the world was endless. So everything she saw was new. It was almost as though she was the one who had been thrown into a fairy tale. If she was Alice, then I felt almost like a rabbit holding a watch. To her, it was probably a really fun walk filled to the brim with excitement. But as for me, the truth was, I was completely bewildered. After all, I had walked randomly to get there, so there was no way I could have known the way back to the mansion. There were no lights in the forest and I hadn't brought a flashlight. I realized that it would be terrible if it got dark while we were still like this, and grew impatient. She was too innocent, and apparently she couldn't understand at all how frightening it would be to face the night inside the forest. But I was the one who had brought her outside. Somehow, I had to take responsibility and resolve the situation. So I thought that for now, we should just go out to the sea. If we then follow the coast around eventually, we should definitely be able to make it back to the mansion. However, that was much more of a problem than I had imagined. After all, I didn't have a map or a compass. There was no way I could walk in a straight line through an uncultivated forest, and I had immediately lost my sense of direction. I already had no clue which trail I'd come by and was completely lost. At this rate, night would definitely fall before I even knew where I was walking. But I didn't have the luxury to complain, because that woman was following behind me, was so innocent and having so much fun. Therefore, for the sake of her smile if nothing else, I absolutely had to guide her out of this forest. Gritting my teeth so that I didn't show her a troubled face, I pushed my way onward through the pathless woods. And, although we had various troubles, we were lucky enough to make it to the sea. At that time, I still didn't even have a clue where I was in the island. But for the time being, I was just a little reassured, realizing that if I just went around this way, I would surely be able to return to the mansion. Of course, although I said that we reached the sea, we were on top of a rocky cliff. The beach was far below us. I was tired from walking around the forest for so long, so I thought that even though it was a rocky beach, an open area would probably be much easier to walk in. So I planned to somehow go down that rocky cliff. It did look pretty dangerous, and I wondered if there was some other way. However, Beatrice agreed with my plan without any doubts, even though she was probably older than me. She obeyed me truly, obediently, almost as though she were some kind of chick who believed that I was a mother bird. I searched to see if there wasn't some place where I could go down the cliff. Then I found a place where the cliff had crumbled into a slope. It looked a little dangerous, but if I went down on both hands and both legs like I was crawling, I thought it would probably be okay.
ここを降りましょう。気をつけないと危ないけど。とにかく海岸に降りて、あとは沿って歩けば、もう迷わずに済むと思うの。
うん。ローザがそうするのならそうしようぞ。わらわは迷うとやらも楽しいぞ。とても愉快だ。
She really had no sense of danger. There was probably no mistake that she had lived a life without discomfort. Even though she knew it would get dark and when night fell, she couldn't imagine how dangerous the inside of a forest could be without light. Furthermore, it seemed that she couldn't grasp at all how dangerous it might be if she fell from the cliff. I warned her once more to be careful. I cautiously examined the place where we could go down. It looked pretty high up. I think it might have been about 10 meters down. If you looked at it from the bottom, it would probably have looked shorter than the roof of the mansion. but looking from the top, it felt almost like staring down from the Tokyo Tower's observation room. But Beatrice still appeared to be completely without fear. It felt as though she had never been taught that high places were dangerous. No, maybe she truly believed that she was a witch, and that she could fly, so there wasn't anything dangerous.
気をつけてくださいね。結構高いから。
うん。気をつけるぞ。下へ降りたら海があるな。そこに水族館があるのか？
いえ、この島には水族館はないですよ。でも、海にはたくさんの魚がいると思います。
そうか。魚はいるのか。そなたが話してくれた、クジラとかイルカとかペンギンとかはいるのか？
いえ、そういうのは水族館に行かないといないです。水族館は島を出ないとないですよ。
そうなのか。だが楽しみだ。クジラとはどんな魚なのか？
すっごく大きな魚で、あれ？哺乳類かな？それで潮を吹いたりします。
ほう。ならば、イルカは？
頭のいい魚で、あれ？これも哺乳類だっけ？とても頭が良くて、芸とかを覚えられるんですよ。
ほう。ならば、ペンギンはどうなのか？
あれ？これは鳥類だっけ？
なんだ。水族館なのに、さっきから魚が出てこんぞ。
まあ、魚だけでなく、いろいろな海の生き物がいっぱいいるんですよ。
ほほー。それはとても楽しみだ。
She made, some might have described it as funny, rushed and short voice. No, probably it was a scream, I think. She suddenly made a sound like that. Her body separated from the cliff and gently fell down. I immediately thought to say to her, "How many times did I warn you to be careful?" It was the thought of a child. It was how a child immediately gets mad when something happens, trying to show that they are not at fault. Of course I said it too. Are you alright? How many times did I warn you? Wait, she fell off the cliff?
それで崖から落ちてどうなったんだ？
彼女はどうしたんだ？ローザ。
Rosa fell silent. Her gaze fell to her feet as though she were seeing through the floor to some disgusting memory.
死んだのね。
Ava's brutal words were the ones that Rosa had most wanted to avoid. And when she was hit with them, she screamed in resignation.
死んだわ！岩浜だったもの。尖った危険な岩がたくさんむき出しになっていた。目を見開いたまま、すごい血が溢れ出して、たちまち真っ赤な絨毯を広げていった。声をかけたわ！揺さぶったわ！でも、彼女は返事は愚か、瞬きすらも。私が悪いのよ！彼女はドレス姿だったのよ！あんな動きにくい格好なのを知っていたのに、私が壁壁を降りようなんて言ってしまったから。彼女はすごい素直だったから、私の言うことに何の疑いもせずに従って。
いつまで死んでいるつもりか。いい加減に目を覚ませ。まったく、わらわの預かり知れぬところで勝手に肉塊に姿を変えようって。
Alright guys, I'm gonna end the video here for today. Thank you all for watching. When we come back, we're gonna come back to Beatrice's story over here. I don't know how this is all gonna conclude, if anything. We have a long ways to go, but I'm very curious and I'm very excited. So if anything else, I'll see you all in the next one.